Hello, my name's Richard Lane, and I'm here with some thoughts, questions, and observations about being a free citizen in a free society. I'll start with a quote by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He said, "None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believed we're free." And here we are today, USA. You know, if you measure your freedom by how much control other people have over your life, you've got to really think about just what freedom is. Now, our politicians, bureaucrats, military people, book writers, newspaper writers, many of them, most of them, all the time, will tell you how free you are. I mean, you're the freest nation in the world, the greatest nation in the world. There are other people in the world that hate our freedom so much they come over here and kill us and try to kill us because they hate our freedoms. Well, how much control do other people have over your life? You've got laws. This country started off with three federal laws. There was a law against counterfeiting, there was a law against treason, and a law against piracy. Now we've got over 5,000. They can't even count all the federal laws. And that's not enough. They set up giant bureaucracies with rules and regulations with the power of law behind them, the force of law, actually, because law is force. That's what Washington said. Washington said government is not reason, it's not eloquence, it's force. And that's exactly what it is. You don't do what they say, they'll send you some kind of paper. And then if you don't respond to that, they'll send people out. If you resist the people, they'll shoot you. It's force. Law, I mean, it's government's force. And how many people have control over your life? Well, let's look at some of these bureaucracies and what they can do. The EPA is a pretty good example. If you want to have some fun, look into it. Google EPA abuses, and you'll just see page after page of them. You see, everybody's for the EPA. Everybody's for clean wire and water. That's what they were set up to do. They've pretty much done it, but bureaucracies don't set out to do something and just do it and then say, okay, guys, we've done our job. Let's all close up and go find other work to do. No, they find other things to do. They keep on and on and on and on and on till there is no end to it. Hell, they're out there, finding people 10,000 a day for trying to cover up a puddle in their backyard. They say it's a wetland. They do all kinds of weird things. And you've got, so many three-letter outfits out there, bureaucracies, alphabet soup, the EPA, FBI, CIA, on and on, there's no end to it. And all of them have control over your life to some degree. I mean, look, they control the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, medicine you take, the cars you drive, the schools you send your children to. They control the way the doctor practice medicine, the way they treat you, what they can and can't treat you with, what medicines you can and can't take. They really feel like you're too stupid to make any kind of decision for yourself, and certainly incapable of learning from your own mistakes. So they make everything, either it goes on to the point where, if it keeps on going, everything will either be forbidden or mandatory. There'll be no choices. So here we are. We've got less and less freedom every day because, there are four things that we've really just kind of lost track of. One, it is absolutely and completely wrong to use force to take money away from one person or group of people and give it to another person or groups of people. It's wrong. If you did it, if you went next door and used force, took some money from one neighbor, gave part of it to another neighbor across the street who, maybe needed groceries or something. Now, of course, you kept some for yourself because, you went to trouble doing that. Yeah, I smoke. I've been doing it for 65 years. It hadn't killed me yet. I'll probably die of something else. But anyway, uh, they do this to buy votes. I mean, the whole thing has got, someone once identified a society, a democratic society, as everybody trying to live at the expense of everybody else. And that's where we are. Everybody's wanting something from government, and the government's willing to give them something because the threat of, they can always threaten the other side with trying to take it away from you and get your votes. That's all they want is the power. So, taking money away from one person, keeping some, and they keep what they keep's pretty good. They live pretty well. Your average federal government employee earns almost twice as much as your average uh, civilians of the Woodward, I guess, employee, almost twice as much. Plus, they got all those goodies, those benefits, retirement, medical, all kinds of things that they get, and geez, but anyway, you can understand that it's just wrong. Another thing they just fail to realize, and Republicans especially bad about this, they believe that vices should be crimes, and vices are not crimes. A crime by definition is something one does to another person or their property. A vice is something someone does for themselves, in pursuit of happiness. It goes along there with life and liberty. And now vices, why are vices illegal? Because somebody's morals or religious beliefs are going to force them down on other people. What? There's nothing wrong with prostitution. This is just how silly these laws can get. Now, a girl can take as many men as she wants to up to her apartment or to her home and have sex with them, as much as she wants to do, as often as she wants to do, as many as she wants to do, as long as no money changes hands. Oh, wait, no. You can get paid for having sex with a whole bunch of people every day if you want to, as long as there's a camera on you and you've signed a model release. Then that's freedom of expression. It's just, the whole thing's insane. Same with drugs. Who in the hell sits up and says you can take this drug, but you can't take this drug? You must take this drug, but you can't take that drug. You've got no choice. Somebody makes those choices for you. Hell, I've smoked marijuana. I know ill results from it. Nixon, President Nixon put a blue panel, a bunch of people together to, write a report on the harmful effects of marijuana. They came up with something real good, no, but it's rather harmless psychedelic that doesn't really cause anybody a lot of problems. He refused to have it published. That's not what he wanted to hear. So, you go on and on with that gambling, you can go to Wall Street, they call it speculating, or you can go to Vegas where they call it gaming, but gambling is gambling. That's putting money at risk, hoping for a outcome in your favor. So, if I tried to run a poker game here in my house and take a little cut of the pot for my providing the drinks and the space to play, I'd be violating a bunch of laws and I'd throw me in jail. Harmless poker game. How about a poker game online? Oh, they put an end to that, but they didn't put an end to horse racing online. You can bet on horses. You can have, in New York, they've got off-site betting sites. They're controlled by the state, but you set one up, you go to jail. See, it's just all so ridiculous. Vices are not crimes. Vices are simply vices. Crimes are something you do to another person or property. Another thing they just absolutely refuse to understand is that there's a market for something, somebody will fill the market. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, whether it's legal or illegal, if there's a market for something, somebody will fill the market. That's been going on since men were able to recognize each other as being somewhat the same. People fill markets. Another thing, and this is a biggie, the simple fact we don't know how to mind our own business. Our politicians run it all over the world. We've got, there's something like 194 separate countries in the world. We got some kind of military presence. and 130 or 150 of them, something like that. We're all over the world with our guns. And, if we could mind our own business, you see, a lot of people will tell you that neutrality, like Switzerland is, that neutrality is isolationism. There's a world of difference. To isolate is to not have anything to do with anybody else or any other country. Our forefathers, the people that put this country together, which were a hell of a lot smarter than the assholes we got up there now, they said be friends with everybody, trade with everybody, but don't get involved with their internal problems or their politics. Trade with them, be friends with them, but and by all means, don't be afraid of them, unless fear is warranted. You stop and think about it. If you had nothing to fear, you wouldn't need a government at all. So they operate on fear. Anytime they can find something that will frighten you, they'll come up and make sure you know all about it and come up with thousands of ways to fix it at your expense. And anytime, every time they try to do something or want to do something, ask yourself who benefits and at whose expense. Usually a small group of powerful people are going to benefit, and a whole large group of taxpayers are going to pay for it. That's all I got for now. There'll be more later on. Thank you for watching and listening.